Audio right there. Boom, boom.
All right.
Huh. Uh-oh, we have suspended your account due to suspicious activity.
No worry, you can continue using Reddit. Reddit is nothing but suspicious activity.
Right?
That's just funny.
It looks like Alex is watching on Rumble. Groovy. All right, thing one. For those of you who know me, I'm deaf as a post without my hearing aids in, and Cameron just said something about about that intro music being loud as crap coming over my headphones. I honestly don't know if it's loud as crap coming over my headphones because I have to turn them way the hell up to even be able to use the things. So y'all let me know if I need to put a headphones warning there. I just balanced it down a little bit just in case, and we'll move into the story. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot.
So
where's your high-tech camera fixer?
Oh, I might need a longer yardstick for this. One that's actually like a yardstick.
I was about to say, that's not a yardstick. If it were, it'd solve a lot of problems.
But it is a yardstick. It's just that I'm holding it. Okay, so Polytex, says because you make money if we watch here. That is true. That is absolutely true. Yeah. So by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching for free. If you're watching this on Rumble, you're still watching us for free, but we get paid for you watching us on Rumble. So yeah, the faster we can just migrate everybody over to Rumble, the better. Also, pro tip, you get long form content like the Ben Shapiro stuff, some of our shows, any of the Daily Wire, Blaze, Crowder, all that stuff, where they do some videos that you want to watch sometimes, but by and large, what they're doing is talk radio, and for a lot of what they're doing, it's just as good if you're just listening to it, like say for instance while you're driving. Well, if you want to hit play on a YouTube video and then just listen to the audio, unless you're paying for the upgraded YouTube service, you can't close the app. So you can't, like, for example, put your phone up on the holder so that you can use the Maps app or whatever to navigate while listening to something. Or you have to throw it in the seat and just let it play on YouTube. Rumble doesn't charge you for that. If you're watching those same videos, almost all of them are on Rumble as well. If you use the Rumble app, you can close the app and keep listening to whatever you're listening to and do your maps or whatever. So, for real, guys, it's time to evacuate YouTube. We're going to stay on YouTube and continue to try to grow an audience on YouTube, mostly so that we can peel people off of YouTube. That said...
Well... I'll reference Rush Limbaugh again, okay? AM radio was effectively dead. AM radio was what your local town had, so you could hear about the local swap shops and when the local firefighters were doing a charity drive for the March of Dimes.
Right.
And Rush changed all that, which is impressive. So, anyhow, but I watched Polytech last night, and if I had known that they get money for watching on Rumble, I would have watched on Rumble. Instead, I watched on YouTube. And Alex was hysterical last night. I'm nervous about repeating some of the things that he said that cracked me up.
Yeah, we had a good time on Polytech last night.
But when he started out with injecting crack, which, if you don't know, it's not something you can do with crack. But when he started out with injecting crack and going from there, it was hysterical. So go check our friends over at Polytech out.
And hey, that's awesome. Just from telling you guys some things, I've got a handful of you over there watching on Rumble, and that's freaking awesome. And also, it surprised me a little bit. We've been on Rumble for about 2 years, picked up a handful of subscribers and a handful of Rumbles, and seen a pretty solid spike in those numbers just since we started live streaming to Rumble, which is especially surprising, I thought, because on YouTube it's almost the opposite. So a little behind the scenes, part of the reason we haven't grown on YouTube as fast as maybe we could have, we see spikes of growth when I do a produced video and publish it. And part of that is they just don't promote live streams. We do a live show every day. And the more produced specials and even the more produced little shorts like the SpaghettiOs thing, that takes time, and it just takes time and resources, and
we have jobs.
Yeah, just stuff to do.
We'd like for this to be our job.
That would be awesome.
Hint. Go watch on Rumble. But yeah, like we have like bills. We do this for love, and we've been doing this for years. So
speaking of which, I'm getting my truck back today.
Okay, but it's Friday. It's Friday.
Yes, it is.
It's Friday. Let's do the thing.
It's Firearms Friday, and before we get into any DGUs, if we even have time for them after we dig into this garbage, let's do this. Quintez Brown, BLM Louisville defends posting bail for alleged would-be mayoral assassin. Now, there's a headline for you. Let's back up. Thing one, like before we even get to BLM Louisville defends posting bail for alleged would-be mayoral assassin, okay, we have a mayoral assassination, a suspect in custody.
Would be. Apparently he's a very poor assassin.
Yes. He missed.
Or
I mean, not that I'm endorsing the assassination of a Democrat mayor by a Democrat activist, but son, if you're going to do something, do it right.
Well, remember we had the story about a month ago where the guy took a gut full of birdshot and somehow survived,
Yep.
and it was like, you can't give that a BRM.
Nope.
Like, God himself came down and said, today is not your day. So this
or more correctly, today is very much your day. It is your day. You own that shit.
Yeah, like that's people are standing around telling stories at a party. That's always going to be the one that wins. That's like being the guy that got attacked by a shark. It's like, well, I got bit by a shark. I win. I have the coolest story.
Yeah, God came down and he said, and much like Trent Reznor doffing his cap to the man in black, he said, "You can have this one."
Yes. Anyhow,
so Black Lives Matter Louisville defended bailing out Quintez Brown, who allegedly attempted to assassinate Democrat mayoral candidate Craig Greenberg. Now, when they say allegedly, he walked into the office at close range with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and fired it at the candidate. So when they say allegedly, yes, absolutely innocent until proven guilty. But to be clear, the proof of guilt is a quantity of evidence that is recognizable beyond a reasonable doubt. And yeah, Alex, you're right. He is a mayoral candidate, a Democrat mayoral candidate. Let's not forget to hammer that point real quick, because we are talking about a BLM activist, and a Democrat mayoral candidate. And you must never forget that when you're dealing with Marxists and Democrat activists and Democrat, terrorists,
liberals get the bullet too.
The organization's official Twitter account went on a tweeting spree on Thursday, defending their choice to post Brown's $100,000 bail.
Hey, look, just curious. Just curious. January 6th, last year.
Yeah.
How many of those people are alleged insurrectionists?
Under the law?
No. I just mean the media narrative.
Oh, yeah, none of them. There's no alleged.
Oh, okay.
It's just like Kavanaugh, guilty until proven innocent.
Obviously I was asking the question for dramatic effect, but
and I'm going to go ahead and cruise down to the mayor's response here. The mayor's the candidate's commentary. Greenberg blasted the criminal justice system as broken in a Thursday statement to reporters, saying it is nearly impossible to believe that someone can attempt murder on Monday and walk out of jail on Wednesday. I haven't done a deep dive into this candidate, but how much do you want to bet he's a pro bail reform, pro criminal justice reform type of guy?
That's possible. But I'm also, in my age and experience, I'm also somebody that thinks that doing some changes, as it were, to criminal justice and bail and all that might be appropriate. Alex is also popping up in our chat saying that he was on the Joy Reid show. That's funny. Not The View, the Joy Reid show. Some years ago, advocating for common sense gun control. Which is hysterical because, and okay, anytime you hear the phrase common sense gun control, for starters, we already have dozens and dozens and dozens of gun control laws on the books, and they're not followed.
Right.
They're just not. Okay? Before you pass new gun control laws, how about you follow the ones that are already in place? And follow them absolutely. Now, you're not going to do that because you're going to hurt your own people, your own potential voters, and so forth. But again, I go back to repeal all federal gun laws. It's not working. It's nothing but an infringement on rights. Situations like this, I already know that this was a poor security situation.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because there was a politician.
Because nobody returned fire?
Well, because there was a politician. But we encourage, when you go around politicians, don't be armed. That's the expectation.
Yeah, bullshit.
Look, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's something I personally practice, okay? But again, up until recently, Marjorie Taylor Greene was my congressional candidate, so the people were armed around Marjorie.
And brother, we may need to do a whole show on Marjorie because she's been saying some stuff lately that's just, she's so on point. Like I can see why they felt the need to smear her and go after her because she is so incredibly on point.
Yes. But now, I knew this was a poor security situation because there was a politician. And let's be really clear, this was a Democrat politician. So you already know how all of them feel about gun control. So nobody around him was armed. And the only thing that ever stops a bad guy with, not just with a gun, with any weapon, period, is a good guy with a weapon. Period. If you call the police and the police come and they stop the bad guy, it's because the police are wearing armor and carrying weapons.
Correct. They are mediocre guys with weapons.
Look, I'm not knocking cops. I'm just pointing out, okay, that if the rest of us maybe had easier access to armor and weapons, like, it is what it is. Like, anybody that's ever played Dungeons and Dragons or like an RPG, like, video game, it's the first thing you do. You get armor and weapons.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Please believe if the if I'm ever involved in a self-defense incident and the police arrive to arrest me, they're going to find me. They're going to find me kind of kneeling over the body, and they're, what the hell are you doing? And I'm going to look up. I'm like, I'm looting the corpse.
This one only had 4 gold. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to surrender my daily carry for this.
Now, I also want to point out this is just hilarious. So, in response to criticism from people online of BLM supporting someone who just shot at a government employee, BLM corrects them. It was a candidate. Not the guy we bailed out needed support. The group responded to another critic. As the candidate said, the guy we bailed out needed support.
I mean, you know how sometimes...
Actually, the guy we bailed out only shot at a candidate, not a government official, is truly an incredible take, says Colin Anderson. Go you.
I mean, that's not the B.
Not the B.
Anyhow, okay, let me read this one. Applying pressure on the community work to address a huge issue affecting specific community members, black, brown, and poor folks, is ill-served. You absolutely know what resources folks in the city are demanded to end poverty laws and reduce incarceration rates as well as crime 3.
Okay, just to address this real quick, if an actual goal of BLM is to reduce incarceration rates, one of the first things you should consider is not committing crimes.
Look, and we've talked about this before, about how, like, you and I both think that a good number of the laws that are on the books, like, seriously, should just be thrown away.
Yeah.
Right? Just period. And even the ones that remain crimes, like, we're going to have to really, really, really reevaluate how we want to treat them going forward, okay? But when you try and kill somebody, like, I think we can all say, and this is not one of those, like, this is not a bar fight that got out of control, right?
Right.
This
murder is the only crime.
Well, no, specifically, this wasn't just an attempted murder. This was an attempted assassination.
An attempted political assassination.
Exactly. Okay. And I used the bar fight thing as an example. This is not somebody that was drunk and picked up a bottle and whacked somebody else over.
Who hadn't beat a Marine over the head with a bar stool for chuckles?
Most of us.
You've missed out.
I'm pretty sure that's aggravated battery, brother. That's how you do 5 years. So I don't think...
No, that's not how that works. You've been hanging out in the wrong bars.
Anyhow.
You don't want to go drinking with a bunch of litigious bitches. They get all butthurt about little things like cuts and scrapes and broken bones.
Yeah, that's...
Sack up, sweetheart.
Yes. Dave Bowen says shooting mayoral candidates should stay on the books. And yeah, that's... I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. But, okay, all jokes aside, like... This was an assassination attempt, okay? This is so clearly a crime. And even if they want to say, oh, well, he's got mental health issues. Okay, fine. I'll accept that 100% as fact. So he gets locked up in the nuthatch for several years.
Mm-hmm.
He's not allowed to get out of that place until he's so doped up on Thorazine or whatever he can barely move.
Do the Thorazine shuffle.
Right. Do the Thorazine shuffle.
I want to address this comment by Dave in a second.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I'm done. Go ahead. That's
okay. I want to correct David there. Dave says they want to reduce incarceration numbers by allowing people to get away with crimes. And just not really a correction so much as a clarification, so that everyone understands. If any of you aren't tracking, and I suspect David is tracking on this, it is not that they want to reduce incarceration numbers by allowing people to get away with crimes. That is a thing that is actively happening. Right, policies in Los Angeles and in California and New York especially, where they're just refusing to prosecute most crimes that are committed by minorities.
It was only $900 worth of theft.
Do what?
It was only $900 worth of theft. Don't worry about it.
Basically, you walk out of a Walmart with a TV, and they're not going to prosecute you.
Yeah, the stories of the people that like take their bikes inside the CVS so they can fill up the basket on the front of their bike and just ride it out the door. It's like, okay.
So yeah, and just a point of clarification, right? I'm not saying David's wrong, but it's important to understand that it's not as if allowing people to get away with crimes is an eventual objective. That is an ongoing process. If you guys remember when the jogger, when the Ahmaud Arbery case came around, and it was such a clear-cut case that it was dismissed by several prosecutors until they were each individually threatened by a lynch mob, and then finally Brian Kemp came in and stuck his nose in the business and tracked down a racist activist prosecutor and judge that would take over the case. I pointed out then that as soon as the lynch mob came for the prosecutors and the McMichaels, it was clear that the objective of the radical left is to actively encourage crimes to be committed by minorities and for crimes to only be prosecuted when committed by white men, straight white men especially.
Oh, in the McMichaels case, they're being prosecuted a second time.
Yeah.
Going through all their social media
Which brings
posts.
up another piece of this story, tangentially related. I want to show you something real quick. And yeah, that's him. This is the guy that Quintez shot at. This, Craig Greenberg, right? This is the guy that Quintez Brown shot at. So here's my question. Can you guess what my question is? Here, let me make sure you see. Can you see it? Can you see that? Just as a matter of clarification, here's the two of them next to one another. Does anybody notice maybe a relevant factor here? One that makes it worth asking the question, is this guy going to be charged with a hate crime for attempting to murder this guy?
Probably not.
Because make no mistake, the only reason the McMichaels are being put in double jeopardy to add hate to their crime
it's because they're white.
Is racism.
Yeah. Naked racism. And
you want to point to something you can call systemic racism? That's it. We literally have laws that make it more crimey to be a white man who committed the crime.
Especially if you do it against a black man.
And you crime, you're somehow crimier.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have a few minutes left. Can we try and get to DGUs, please?
No.
You're breaking my heart.
Okay. I'll even let you read this one. I might spin that down a little bit, actually.
Okay. I drop an entire magazine.
Yeah!
Neighbor shares story about saving Whatcom County deputies.
That one's for David over on Rumble. Then are we Crimean?
All right. Fox 13 News spoke to a man who helped save the lives of two Whatcom County deputies during a shootout last week. Investigators say deputies arrived to a neighborhood on Green Valley Drive responding to a gunshot that was fired during a dispute between neighbors. Remember, it's always people with weapons that stop people with weapons. And in this case, there's like some mimetic...
And in this case, they sent people with weapons who just weren't up to the job.
Well, to be fair, if you got called into something and you didn't know that the perp had a tank, like, it wouldn't matter how well trained you were. Like, you need backup at that point.
Sure.
When deputies arrive on scene, investigators say a 60-year-old man shot at them. He could have had that old man strength and that old man, like the old men that never miss and can still fight even though they've got like gray hair,
That whole sergeant major said, Lowry, what's wrong with you? Where you going with that musket? I had my M16 with iron sights after a firefight. Where you going with that musket, Lowry? Didn't you hear the Civil War's over? And I just said, Sergeant Major, all due respect, you can't kill a man with iron sights. You don't deserve to carry a rifle.
You hear a shot ring out and Officer Thompson fell backwards, said Cody Dieter. Oh my. Dieter lives a few houses away from where the suspect lives. He says he was outside when the suspect fired the first shot. We got the kids inside and we got our weapons. Dieter said when deputies first arrived, things had quieted down. He said the suspect had gone back inside, but the peace would not last.
Da, da, da.
He said one of the deputies was shot and went down and the other deputy was hit while responding. Damn, that's shit going bad. Dieter said he ran toward the gunshots. That's when I stepped around the corner and dropped an entire magazine at this guy. Dieter helped to pull the first deputy hit out of the line of fire. He and both deputies took cover in a garage until backup arrived. It was nerve-wracking. My heart was definitely racing, he said. You think. Dieter says there was no question on the day of the shooting what to do. Those guys would take a bullet for me. They take a bullet for you, he said. They did in this case. Your dad says old people are old for a reason.
It takes a good defensive strategy to get old. It takes a good aggressive strategy to stay that way.
Yeah, it's like the old Star Trek jokes. Like, you don't see many old Klingons.
No, you don't. And when you do, they're terrifying.
Yes.
And missing.
Like
appendages.
Teeth and eyes. Yeah. 60-year-old Joel is charged with two counts of attempted first-degree murder and is held on $5 million bond. There are GoFundMe pages posted for both Jason Thompson and Ryan Rathman, the deputies injured in the shooting. Wow. So you could shoot two cops and still get bond. That's...
it's a high bond. I wonder if BLM will pay it.
I don't know. Is the suspect black or the cops white?
That's a good question. Actually, we don't know. It's not mentioned here, so yes.
What's the guy's name? Let's just go straight to it. I don't care if this is racist. The suspect...
Joel Young. That's a hard one to guess.
Yeah,
on.
it could be.
That could go either way. And,
Steve says emptying a mag and not hitting a dude is unforgivable. I'm generally inclined to agree. But...
I'm almost inclined to agree. I'd have to know more about the cover situation. There is such a thing as suppressive fire.
I was about to say something very similar. It's like, dude already ran toward the gun. He had already seen two cops get shot. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. My heart was definitely racing. So you should hit somebody with a full mag, but then again, at the same time, when the shit has gone that bad and you're trying to rescue two other human beings from being shot again,
right?
Like that's.
And we'll know what color everybody was when GoFundMe bans the support page.
But yeah, what a story. Dumped a whole mag. That's, any idea where all those bullets ended up, though? No, Steve, I don't know where they ended up, and that is a fair point. It really is, but I think when things have gone as bad as they can go, like, it's like our ascending rights. It's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You have to have life to have liberty, and you have to have life and liberty to pursue happiness. Well, when one of your neighbors is blasting cops right in front of you, like, all of that training about the proper way to use a firearm is great and helps, okay? And we talked about on this show before, like, bullets don't miss. They always hit something. The question is just what?
And the way I read this, it seems like Joel was just outside in front of his house, so hopefully all those extra rounds just went through his windows. And David points out full mag is subjective. Yeah, that's true. Because
it could be one of those little 10-round mags.
Well, oh yeah, I mean, I've gone Saws Akimbo before, and that's a lot of bullets.
Or it could be like one of the big dick 100-round things too, where those are two different full mags.
It literally looks like a nutsack hanging out of your rifle.
Yeah, that's why I said big dick.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic. If you've never gotten to shoot a 100-round magazine, it's fun. It's fun. I'm suddenly reminded of that first time you got to fire an automatic weapon. It's an eye-opening experience.
It was an eye-opening experience. It was like, you know what it was like? It was like when you squeeze a garden hose and you just feel a continuous stream. I know you know what I mean.
Yep.
Right? A lot louder and a lot deadlier, but not an entirely dissimilar sensation.
Yep. All right. Well, that's the show for today. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're going into Saturday. The weekend is upon us. Tomorrow, I and Cameron and Patrick's going to join us as well. We're going to shoot... Clarification. We're going to film a speech by Alveda King at the Decatur Republican Party meeting, which is at Wild Wings Cafe on Ashford Dunwoody. So we'll be up
Sounds like breakfast.
It is. There's a breakfast buffet
at Wild Wings Cafe. Hell yeah.
To be clear, they don't actually serve a breakfast buffet, except for when the Republicans come to town with Alveda King.
Fair enough.
Or any other
I'll
speaker.
have chicken wings for breakfast. That sounds perfect.
I've seen me do it.
And they've got like beer cheese burgers too. Oh.
Yeah, those aren't on the breakfast buffet.
Should be. Beer cheese is delicious.
Alex says, y'all, we need to get out to my gun club and have our own Firearms Friday. Hell yeah.
I like this plan.
Let's set that up.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, and then this final thing before the safety brief. Last night on the Polytech show, as they were closing up, Alex said that Polytech and the Brushfire Mind are planning to do a joint live stream exclusive on Rumble at the end of March. And Danny made a funny face like, well, this is the first I've heard about it. You didn't tell me yet. And in fairness, Alex, I didn't tell Cameron yet either. So, but we will get that. We will make that happen. So I'll see you guys soon. The weekend is upon us. Don't drive drink. Don't fry bacon naked. And keep calm and carry one. We'll see you Monday morning.